Have you ever finished a match feeling like you barely touched the ball? You made runs. You worked hard. You stayed active. But somehow the ball never came to you. And when it did, it felt like an accident. Most players leave those games thinking their teammates ignored them. But here's the uncomfortable truth. In many cases, they didn't ignore you. They simply didn't see you. Not because you're physically invisible, because you're positionally invisible. And the worst part? Most footballers never realize they're making this mistake. They think the solution is to run more, shout louder, or demand the ball constantly. But the real problem goes much deeper. Today, we're breaking down the mistake that makes players disappear during games, and more importantly, how to become the player teammates naturally want to pass to. Because the players who get the most touches aren't always the most talented. They're the most visible. And visibility in football is a skill. Let's get into it. Most young players think being open means being available. Those are not the same thing. You can be completely unmarked and still be a terrible passing option. Think about that. A teammate receives the ball under pressure. He has less than 2 seconds to make a decision. He's scanning quickly, looking for the safest and clearest option. Now imagine you're standing still behind an opponent, or you're too close to another teammate, or you're positioned where receiving the ball would immediately put you under pressure. Technically, you're available, but practically, you're invisible. The ball goes elsewhere. Then frustration starts. You raise your hands. You wonder why nobody passes to you. Meanwhile, the real issue isn't your teammate's decision. It's the picture you're presenting. Football is a game of pictures. Every second, players are looking at shapes, angles, distances, and movement. The players who receive the ball most often create the clearest picture. Everyone else blends into the background. And that's where the real problem begins. Here's something elite players understand. Every pass is a decision, and every decision carries risk. Your teammate doesn't pass to whoever wants the ball most. He passes to whoever makes his life easiest. Read that again. The easiest option wins. Not the loudest, not the most emotional, not even the most skilled. The easiest. Imagine two players. Player A is waving his arms, demanding the ball. But he's standing behind a defender. Player B quietly adjusts his position 3 meters to the side, creating a clear passing lane. Who gets the ball? Almost always player B. Because football rewards solutions, not requests. Many players focus entirely on themselves. Why didn't he pass to me? Top players ask a different question. How can I make the pass obvious? That mindset changes everything. Because the moment you start helping the ball carrier instead of demanding from him, your touches increase dramatically. Now let's break down exactly how to do that. Lesson 1. Stop hiding in straight lines. One of the biggest reasons players become invisible is simple. They stand in straight lines. A defender, you, the ball, all lined up. When that happens, the defender blocks the passing lane without doing anything special. The pass becomes risky, so it doesn't happen. Elite players constantly move off those lines. They shift a few steps left, a few steps right. They create angles. Watch top midfielders. They're always adjusting, not sprinting, not making dramatic runs. Adjusting. Small movements create huge passing windows. A lot of players think movement means running. Sometimes movement means taking 2 smart steps. Those 2 steps can completely change what your teammate sees. Next match, pay attention to this. Every time your teammate gets possession, ask yourself, can he see me clearly? If the answer is no, move until he can. Simple, but incredibly powerful. Lesson 2. Arrive, don't wait. Most invisible players wait for the game to come to them. Visible players arrive into space. There's a huge difference. When you stand in a good position for 5 seconds, defenders notice you. They adjust. The space disappears. But when you arrive into that space at the right moment, it's much harder to track. This is why intelligent movement beats constant movement. You don't need to run everywhere. You need to move with purpose. Think about attacking midfielders. The best ones rarely stand in dangerous areas for long. Instead, they arrive there exactly when the pass becomes possible. That timing makes them look available instantly. And availability creates passes. A useful rule: move after the ball moves. As the ball travels, Defenders shift. New spaces appear. That's your moment. Not before. Not too late. Right then. Football rewards timing more than effort. A player making 5 intelligent movements often receives more passes than someone making 20 random runs. Lesson 3. Show forward, not just sideways. This is where many players lose trust from teammates. They constantly offer safe passes that don't improve the attack. Imagine you're a midfielder. Every time you receive the ball, you immediately pass backwards. Again, and again, and again. What happens? Teammates stop seeing you as a solution. You're available, but not valuable. The players who receive the ball consistently offer progression, not necessarily through dribbling, not necessarily through killer passes, but through body position and intent. When you show for the ball, can you play forward? Can you turn? Can you threaten space? Can you help the team advance? Because players naturally pass toward opportunity. The more often you create it, the more often you'll receive the ball. This doesn't mean forcing risky plays. It means receiving with purpose. Footballers who play with purpose become magnets for possession. Lesson 4. Master the art of scanning. Now we get to the skill almost nobody talks about enough. Scanning. Before the ball reaches you, before your teammate gets the ball, before the pass is even possible, you should already be gathering information. Why does this matter? Because players who scan move earlier, and players who move earlier become visible sooner. Imagine 2 wingers. One is watching the ball. The other is scanning defenders, teammates, and space. When possession changes, who reacts first? The scanner. Always. And that early reaction creates passing options before defenders can close them down. This is one reason elite players seem to have more time. They don't actually have more time. They have more information. Information creates better positioning. Better positioning creates visibility. Visibility creates touches. The chain starts long before the pass. Start building the habit today. Every few seconds, check your surroundings. Not just the ball. Everything. Your football IQ grows every time you do. Lesson 5. Become predictable in a good way. This sounds strange. Most players want to be unpredictable. But great teammates are predictable. Not to defenders. To their own team. Here's what that means. Your teammates should know where you'll be. They should trust your movement patterns. They should understand your habits. If every run you make is random, passing to you becomes difficult. If your positioning changes without logic, teammates hesitate. And hesitation kills passes. Think about elite partnerships in football. The best combinations aren't based on magic. They're based on understanding. One player knows where the other will appear. That trust develops over time. You can accelerate it by becoming reliable. Make smart supporting runs consistently. Offer similar angles. Communicate clearly. Repeat good habits. Trust grows. And once trust grows, touches multiply. Because players pass to people they believe will help them. Let's make this practical. For your next game, don't focus on goals. Don't focus on assists. Don't even focus on touching the ball more. Focus on one question. Am I easy to pass to? Throughout the match, keep checking. Can my teammate see me? Am I creating an angle? Am I arriving at the right moment? Am I helping him make an easy decision? Am I offering progression? Those questions will transform your positioning. And here's what's interesting. The moment you stop chasing the ball often starts finding you. Because you're finally creating value away from possession. Football isn't just about what happens when you have the ball. It's about what happens before you get it. That's where games are really won. Most players want to be noticed. But the best players focus on being useful. That's the difference. One mindset chases attention. The other earns trust. And trust is what gets you the ball. Every touch you receive is a vote from a teammate. A vote that says, I trust you with this possession. The players who receive the most passes aren't always the fastest. They're not always the strongest. And they're definitely not always the most talented. They're the players who make football simpler for everyone around them. So stop asking why nobody passes to you. Start asking how visible you're making yourself. Because once you learn how to create angles, arrive at the right moments, scan constantly, and become a reliable option, you stop disappearing. you become impossible to ignore. And that's when the game starts opening up. If this video helped you see football differently, hit subscribe and keep improving. Because better players don't just train harder, they see the game better.